Hello everybody and welcome to today's demonstration session. For today's session, we'll be going through loan application automation using Workato. The goals for the integration that we're going to build today are threefold. Firstly, we'd like to be able to automate the loan application process. Secondly, we would like to be able to create and store the necessary documents for loan processing, for example, contracts. And lastly, we would like to be able to track the loan application through the use of Salesforce custom objects. So here's the workflow for the integration. Firstly, when the user applies for a loan via SMS, the system will verify his information and update all these details into Salesforce. After doing this, the system will generate Docusign documents and send it back to the user for signing. And lastly, once the loan application is approved, the user will be notified via SMS. For the integration that we're going to build today, here are the apps that we'll be using. Firstly, we'll be using Workato as the orchestrator of the entire integration process. Next, we'll be using Twilio to capture user registration data through SMS and MMS. We'll also be using Google Vision to pass the driver's license, Experian to check the user's credit score, Salesforce to store the user's loan application and details, and Google Forms to capture the user's loan application. Lastly, we'll also be using Webmerge and Docusign to create the loan contract and capture the user's signature. Okay, so let's begin the demonstration. So on the screen to my right, I have iMessage, which we'll be using to send and receive all our SMS messages. And on the window to the left, I have the Chrome browser where I have Salesforce, and which we will be using to view all the Salesforce information as well as whatever emails that we may receive through this process. So let's begin this integration by firstly kicking off with a message to the system. So for example, loan. And when we do that, the message will go to Twilio, and Twilio will send Workato a message via a webhook. So now, as you can see, the system has basically asked the user to input his driver's license. So let's just go into an example driver's license that we have and paste it into iMessage. So we're going to send this as an SMS, as an MMS to Twilio. So using the driver's license, Workato will basically send the driver's license over to Google Vision, which will pass the driver's license and retrieve whatever fields it needs and populate the applicant information within Salesforce. As you can see, the Google Vision has managed to extract the first name, last name, address, and the address of the user. And next, the user needs to pass us his SSN, which in this case we'll just use a 9-digit number. So once this SSN is received, the user will be asked to verify his information. So at the same time, if we go into Salesforce, we also see that the applicant has been created in Salesforce with the relevant information. So once the user has verified his information on the SMS, he can just type yes, and we'll proceed to the next step. So in the next step, basically, Workato will be using his SSN to to get his credit score from Experian. So on the left-hand side, if we take a look at Salesforce, we'll see that the applicant object is now populated with a credit score. So it seems like this user has some issues with the SSN. So okay, so the API took a while to actually reload, but it seems like the user now has a credit score of 530. So this information was actually gotten from the Experian API using the SSN. So next, once the loan has been pre-approved, we'll get a link to Google Forms, which the user can then copy and open in his browser. So what the user is required to do on this page is to fill in the amount of loan that he would like to get, as well as like how many years he'd like to pay it back in. So for example, let's enter Gabriel as the email address, and for a loan amount, maybe he's borrowing 50,000 over a 3-year period, and his start date maybe would be like today, right? And let's hit submit. So once the Google Forms has been fully populated with the user's details and his loan information. If we go into Salesforce and we refresh the loans list, we'll see that the loan has, in this case, indeed been created. So if we click on the loan, we'll see that the applicant is linked. So if we click on we can look at all the loan details, and if we right click on the applicant ID, we will see that we are linked back to the applicant, which in this case would be Judy Jane, right? So all the information is all replicated on Salesforce. However, now after this step, we actually need to let the underwriter actually approve this loan. So if I was the underwriter, for example, I'll go into the loan object. I would change the status of the loan to underwriter approved, right? So this is to signify that the underwriter has taken a look at the loan and approved the loan. So I'm going to hit save. And once that happens, the user will see an SMS notification that will ask him to go to his email to sign the Docusign documents. Yep. So we get an email. So the next step would actually be to log into your email, and you'll see that there is a document for you to review in Docusign. So let's review it. Agree and continue. Alright. So if you read through this document, you'll realize that all the fields that are in bold and underlined are actually merged fields that are coming in from the Salesforce object that was created, the Salesforce loan object that was created. So once the user has looked through this entire document and he agrees to the terms, he will actually sign the document. So we click adopt and sign and click finish. So once this is done, the user will go back into iMessage and he will see that the loan has indeed been approved. So it might take a while, so let's give it a few moments before it. Alright, okay, so we see the message and we've completed the entire workflow. So just want to recap. So for this integration workflow, we started off with an SMS, and the user provided his driver's license and social security number information. We populated the objects in Salesforce, verified the user's credit score, and finally sent the user a Docusign document to sign. And once that was signed, the loan was approved. So now if we go into the related objects of the loan object in Salesforce, we'll see that all the documents that the user had signed and the driver's license that he provided are also stored inside the loan object as related files. So with that, I'd like to conclude today's demonstration session. Thank you and have a great day.